But let's take a look at these job killers, excessive taxation. Let's take a look at what's coming down the pike. You have to be able to see. This is the largest tax increase in history unless Congress is going to act to deal with it. This is, first of all, for married people, the standard deduction decreases if you're married. And then parents, you have a child tax credit will be cut in half from $1,000 to $500 per kid. If you die this year and you have an estate, you pay nothing. Next year, if you die, 55% tax on it. You're a small businessman. You've gotten to be 80 years old. You got your business all going. It's really doing good. It's actually a farm. It's 1,000 acres with some big pieces of equipment. It's worth $10 million, your farm is. And you up and die this year, and you pass that farm on to your son, and he runs it no problem. Next year, same thing happens. You got the nice farm, get it all set up, you die. The government says, hey, taps your son on the shoulder, I need 55% of, but he says, wait a minute. If I take half the land of the farm, then it doesn't make the thing work economically. I can't run the farm on half the land and half the equipment. If I have to sell 55% of it, you're going to put me out of business. They say, you don't understand. You owe the IRS 55% of the cost of that farm. And so that small business closes down next year because of this policy. Because what are we doing? Largest tax increase in history. Take a look at some of these tax increases. If you're paying 10%, you're going to be paying 15% next year. Those who are paying 25% of what they earn are going to be paying 28%. Those paying 28 are going to go to 31. Those paying 33 are going to go to 36. 35 is going to go to 39.6. Capital gains, dividends, death taxes, all of this stuff is going up.
Now, if I remember right, a couple of years ago, we heard a lot about hope, a lot about change. Taxes were not going to go up on the middle class, if I remember right. But if I look at your charts, it's clear that the taxes are going to go up on not just the middle class, but every class. Everyone will pay taxes regardless of where they are on the economic spectrum whatsoever. And as a result, businesses will not hire as many individuals because their taxes are going to go up. And if businesses aren't hiring individuals, unemployment continues to rise. Unemployment continues to rise. It impacts everyone throughout this nation. And again, we're back in this crazy cycle of failed policy.
Same cycle again. So basically what you're saying is, let's say that you don't make hardly any money at all. And so you're saying to yourself, hey, I'm not making much money, so I'm not paying any income taxes. So do I care? I like it if the taxes go up. Oh, no, you don't. Because what happens if you have excessive taxation? You get no job. You know, you can't just beat up on businesses, say all businesses are bad, and then complain that there aren't any jobs. And so if we keep soaking the owners of businesses with excessive taxation, we're going to have a problem with jobs. So what the solution to these problems is, we're making it sound complicated. It shouldn't be complicated. It's simply that you've got to back off on taxes and back off on government spending. It's as simple as that.
So the solutions aren't reforms and takeover of various industries throughout this nation. In fact, it's just the opposite, because in the 15 counties that I spoke to this week, they said, look, just get out of our way. Let us once again be creative, come up with the ideas to dream and to expand my business, but don't put that next regulation. Don't force health care upon me. Don't increase taxes right now at all. Instead, let us, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the ones that are willing to risk it all and work the hardest here and put it all on the line, allow us to do that without government interference.
I don't know if you see this chart. This is kind of an amazing chart. These are all different countries all around the world down here. And there's a little green line there, and this is the corporate tax rates compared. That little green line happens to be the United States. And the only one with higher taxes on corporations is Japan. And we wonder, gosh, gee, I can't understand why we've lost jobs in this country. Well, we've got the second highest corporate tax rate going, not to mention the taxes on individuals, as you're saying. So, you know, we're not doing the job, and part of the reason we're doing all this taxation, of course, is because we're spending too much money.
Well, it seems that there was a report put out by the Heritage Foundation that indicated that America is now classified for the first time as mostly free. I believe, given their ranking system. And that would be a great illustration. I don't think most Americans realize that America is second highest in the world when it comes to corporate tax rates, behind Japan. That all these other nations that you have on this chart have lower tax rates than the United States of America, and we wonder why jobs go overseas to other countries.
Right. You know, and that's the thing. People get really upset. In fact, the Democrats that were talking before we came on tonight were talking about, they're very upset that all these jobs went overseas. And I'm thinking to myself, well, who's pushing all the jobs overseas? You create an environment in America that is hostile to business, and the jobs are going to go overseas. It's as inevitable as water running downhill. And what do? We keep increasing taxes, increasing government spending, and the smart executives and corporations in America that have plants and facilities all over the world, they keep creating jobs. It's just the jobs aren't here. The jobs are going overseas because they've created such a hostile environment that, that the jobs aren't going to be here. And how do they make the environment hostile? Well, first of all, by too much taxes. And the second thing, of course, is spending. Here's a containment dome. We've had some trouble with oil leaking out of containment domes in the Gulf, and here's one. This is a containment dome. There's another containment dome, and it's not working either. Well, it sure isn't working. Take a look at the rate of the spending that we've been doing. And the spending is always followed by, of course, a whole lot of taxation. And so the first thing, if you want to get this thing back on track, is if you want to do the opposite of job killers, you want to create jobs, then what you need to do is you want to cut your taxation. Now, this is one of those things I started out by saying, you know, I wish the Democrats would learn from the other Democrats, and one of them they could learn from was JFK. JFK had a bad economy, and he did the right thing. He cut taxes. And when he cut taxes significantly, guess what happened? More jobs, stronger economy. And the funny thing is, now this is sort of odd, that if you cut taxes, the federal government will actually take in more money in revenue than if you didn't tax it. Isn't that have you thought about that? It's almost counterintuitive.
Well, it explains exactly, though, what we need to do. You're right, it's counterintuitive, but it works.